So like, I'll give an example. You create a magazine, you create a product, and you print thousands of copies of your magazine, and you have this expectation, like, you created this beautiful magazine, it has all these great stories, and people are going to love this, and they're going to want to buy it, and they're going to want to read it. And then when that doesn't happen to your expectations, you think, like, what's wrong with you people? Like, what's wrong with this crowd? Like, this scene sucks. Like, this is horrible. Nobody likes our stuff. And it's not about them not liking it. It's like, what's wrong with them for not liking it or something. Like, you get really frustrated at the audience for not participating. You get frustrated at the audience for retweeting you but not buying your magazine. So it's kind of like, put your money where your support is, you know, buy something and support it. But at the same time, like, we're the one creating the product. They are demanding the product and then not buying it. So there's always this balance of supply and demand. And I think sometimes, especially in literary arts, we over-imagine what that demand is.
Mm-hmm. But then it's also interesting, we have to create a community and a conversation around literature and around storytelling again that actually matters, because our hunger for storytelling is diminishing, even though people say it's very strong. You look at, you know, all the amazing television that's coming out. People are all about saying how storytelling is important. Look at television; it's thriving.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be really interesting. Like, with pollen is so different than paper darts, and the audience that consumes pollen is very different than paper darts. The content is very different than paper darts. So it's interesting to compare. Like, the read time on pollen is, I think, 8 times longer than the read time on paper darts, which is, like, crazy.
Wait, what is it?
So like, how long somebody's spending on the website reading the content is 8 times longer on pollen than it is on paper darts. And it's, like, on one level, hard to digest, because, like, but we love both babies equally. So, but it's just like, there's a frustration with, like, humanity in general, that they're not valuing fiction and poetry as much. But at the same time, there's a really understandable, like, why they love the pollen content so much, because it's very relatable and it's local. You know, when you read pollen, you know the people who are being talked about in pollen. You know the organizations. It's like, personable. It has a in the same way that, like, white people love Facebook is because it's their community. Pollen is their community, and they can interact with it at that level. Whereas paper darts is much more art or something, and it's much more, you know, imagination and having to take you out of the present and the now and taking you out of your community. What it looks like to combine those models and see, like, having some things that are really local and network, and then also, like, moments of taking you out to crazy imagination, I think would probably be a very healthy balance to really push our society and community to, like, a more enlightened land or something. But
we're excited to take what we've learned from paper darts and kind of inject it into this, you know, where the audience is most hungry, and where we have an opportunity to do that. And we are just so